This is Solo P1, it's F1 2023 live reaction of the Canadian Grand Prix. And it was a good race. Happy for Mercedes. Happy for Alonso. Happy for Lewis. Yeah, I like both. I do like both. You're allowed to like both. I've liked both from day one. But there's a certain demographic online that if you like Lewis, you can't like Alonso. If you like Alonso, you can't like Lewis. No. You can like what you want. You can cheer for who you like. Doesn't really matter. It's up to you. You're right. Now, the soft surfacing online news about Alonso. They said that, can we all stop to appreciate this man at the age of 42 years of age? Next month, 42. He's driving like he was when he was 22. That's what he's doing. You never lose it, not really. Not if you want it. Not if you want to deep. If you really got a passion for this sport and you believe, you keep believing that you can do it. It's all about the mindset. It's all about the mind. It's 99% mind. If your mind is not right in this sport, in any sport, you will fail. You will fail. There's no 80% in. You've got to be 100% in. Alonso is all 100% in. Most people, Alonso, we walk away from the sport years ago. He didn't need to prove himself. He was a two-time world champion. He drove that Ferrari in 2012. Potentially could have won the world title in 2012. And that car had no business being in content for the world title in 2012. But Alonso got the car there in 2012 because that's Alonso. Bit like Ayrton Senna when he was driving that Williams before he tragically lost his life. He got that car into pole and that car had no business being in pole. That's what Alonso was like in 2012. And here we go. 20 years later, still driving. Well, not 20 years I'm talking about, but you know what I'm saying. Over a decade later and still driving. He actually started, I think it was 2005, 2006, 2004, one of them years he started. Long time ago now, he started, Alonso, and he's there now. He said today that he thought he could have won the race, but maybe Lewis stopped him at the beginning when Lewis got in front. What an amazing overtake by Lewis Hamilton at the beginning. Amazing. Amazing overtake. And because of the speed today, the upgrades that Aston Martin brought, it showed today. But two great drivers, two of the best drivers, the two best drivers on the grid, in my opinion, Alonso and Lewis Hamilton. The two oldest on the grid and the two of the best drivers on the grid today, Lewis Hamilton and Alonso. They're from the old generation. The new generation can learn a thing or two off them too. I'll tell you that now. So, solo P1, I'm going to bring in Toto Hammer. Toto Hammer. How's it going, Toto? Toto Hammer. Are you there? Toto. I'm not sure if we've lost Toto or not. Toto Hammer. Oh, he's gone. Okay. I think he's having connection issues. But I'm going to continue this review anyway. So, basically, race day started. Lewis had a brilliant start. Passes Alonso at the beginning. Like I just said, what an amazing overtake by Alonso. Okay. Oh, that's my Syria. Sorry about that. Lewis Hamilton passes Alonso at the beginning. Absolutely amazing pass. Turn 3, Russell tried to pass Alonso on turn 3. Didn't really work out for him. Alonso stuck his car there just enough. But at least Russell tried. Magnussen avoided collision right at the beginning as well. There was a few cars at the back. Magnussen avoided collision. Magnussen, he's had an up and down season this year. I think last year when he came into it, when they catapulted him into the car after Piastri left, I think that was last year. There was a big hype around Magnussen, and he's a good driver. But this year, it seems like he's kind of slacked off, but I think he'll come back. Lap 7, Logan car was critical. Logan's car. Lap 7. Not having the best look, Logan side, but it's teething problems. That's how it goes, man. It's teething problems. You're going to get that sometimes and on a race. Teething problems. I wouldn't worry about F1. I wouldn't even worry about it. Logan Sargent, he came into a team not really competitive. He didn't break the car broke on him. So I wouldn't really worry about it so much. He just needs to get his head down. I know he's got a big race coming up. Not coming up, but this year. He had a good race in Miami. I'm not sure how he done in Miami, but obviously it's an American driver. It's the only American driver on the grid. But I know he's going to gear himself up for that race in Las Vegas. That's going to be a good race for him. I think by then, I think he'll get his stuff together. And hopefully he'll have a decent car coming in to that race. Oh, here we go. We've got Toto Hammer's joined us back. Toto Hammer, are you there? I'm just talking about...
yeah, I can't do video at the moment because I got battery problems, but I'll be on the audio. Okay. I'll be on the video soon.
So turn 3, I was talking about Russell at the beginning, and Logan Sargent, lap 7, had critical condition that brought out the virtual safety car.
Or his car
And
stops in it.
Max, yeah, I think the virtual safety car was on about 2 laps. But the funny thing with that virtual safety car, I think at the beginning, Max Verstappen was only about 2 seconds in front of Lewis Hamilton at the beginning. But after the virtual safety car, he gained 2 seconds. Nobody really talked about it. What do you think of that, Toto?
Well, oh yeah. Like after the virtual safety car, there was like a 2 second gap,
Yeah,
and then it just went up to like 3.2 seconds, and then he started
yeah,
decaying away. Which I did. Look, they investigate Lewis and Norris for like under investigation for unsafe relief, but they don't investigate them things like that. Even Martin Brundle said they should, if I was Mercedes, they should have looked at it. When they should have looked at it, shouldn't even go down to Mercedes to look at it. Should have been the FIA because he just gained so much. Virtual safety car is supposed to stay in the Pacific Delta, yeah, and then he just gained over a second in the virtual safety car.
yeah.
Which
second and a half, yeah. Second and
and a half.
Yeah,
You can't do that.
I know.
You can't really do that because you just gain an advantage when everyone has to go down to half race speed. I don't understand why didn't that get investigated.
I know. So, he gained on that safety car. So basically, lap 17, it resumed. Lando Norris was having a few great passes. He passed his teammate on that chicane. That was absolutely that was the pass of the race, in my opinion. And Lando Norris when he passed Piastri on that small chicane. Lando Norris was having a great race today. And I know he was in trouble with the impeding and stuff, but he still had a good race. Lando Norris, you reckon he's a future world champion?
Norris, you can tell he is eager to go into them overtakes, and you can see that. You can see that, and I don't get me wrong. Norris is a great driver. He's a great driver, and I think all he needs is a good team. But you got Oscar Piastri. That's the one who needs to be challenging right now. Yeah. Piastri has been on his backside all season. Piastri won't let it go. He'll try all season. All season he'll try.
Yeah,
and you need to go him today.
Yeah, and I think about it with Piastri. Lando Norris has been in Formula One. This is probably his 4th season now, 3rd or 4th season. So, yeah, I think it's 4th season now for Lando Norris. Piastri, it's his 1st season. You remember when he won Formula 2? After that, he had a year off, and that year off can kill your momentum. He came into Formula 1 this year. Obviously, at first, he's not going to takes a while to get used to the car because Formula 2 to Formula 1 is completely different. So he's had a year off. Then he came into Formula 1. Then he's going to get used to the car. You'll see slowly, probably after Silverstone, you're going to start seeing Oscar Piastri gaining on Lando Norris. And today, show today, he was getting his... All right, don't get me wrong, Lando done a good pass on Piastri, but Piastri was fighting back, and you can see the fight is there, and I can't wait to see them two going wheel to wheel as teammates. That's going to be an amazing watch. What do you reckon, Toto?
Yeah, man, look, them two, I hope they're definitely going to have definitely going to have arguments. You can see that now, the build-up. And look, I just can't wait, man. Piastri, he's won everything. He's won Formula Renault. He's won Formula Ford. He's won Formula 4, 3-2.
Yeah, he's won everything.
And is Formula 1. He's the future of Formula 1. Yeah. He's a rookie now, but look what he's doing in his rookie season.
I know.
Challenging Lando.
Yeah.
He's challenging Lando, who is now a seasoned vet.
Yeah.
Because he's been in it for veteran now, yeah. And look, Lando's going to be there for ages because he's locked down, I think, a 4 or 5 year contract, which is a big mistake, but whatever. But Oscar Piastri, he's hungry, man. He wants to be world champion, and that's what I like. Drivers like that have the grit; they won't let it go, and that's what Piastri is. He could be like he could be up there with the greats in the future because he's quit now. Imagine what it'd be like in a quick car. He reminds me of George Russell. Remember how George Russell was in the Williams?
Yeah.
He was making the most out of that Williams.
As soon as he got that one race. I know. What? Trending online, he's Red Bull cheats. Anyway, let's just move on. But it is trending. Yeah. So we're gonna move on quickly. Lap 23, Lewis got passed by Alonso. It was straightforward pass, really. Alonso, after they came into the pits and put the tyres on the medium, I think Lewis had the medium, the hard tyres on. And, yeah, Alonso passed him on lap 23. Straightforward pass. That was the battle of the race between them two. And I thought the battle between like I said, the two McLaren drivers, that was good as well. But seeing Alonso and seeing Lewis, the two veterans of Formula One, still kicking it at their age. This is why I said at the beginning of this video, you wasn't here because you had technical difficulties. Them two drivers, Alonso and Lewis Hamilton, are the two best drivers on the grid, in my opinion. What about you, Toto?
Yeah, definitely. And you can tell age don't matter in this situation. Look, Alonso, he's 42 soon.
Yeah.
And even though it was his time off F1, he was doing IndyCar, Le Mans. He could have won a triple crown, just missed out. But he got a double crown, but he could have won the triple crown, which is prestige.
I know.
Yeah.
He's won
and
enough,
look,
though.
Alonso.
He's won enough. He's won 2 Le Mans.
He has won 2 Le Mans.
He's done 2 Le Mans. He's won Monaco. He's won 2 World Championships. His potential could have done more, but we'll never know. We'll never know. We might even win another world title still. Still not over yet. Still got a good car. But anyway, Russell had a brilliant race. Well, not at the beginning. Obviously, Russell smacking his car up. He was, you know what? I wish Russell would have just been more patient with the car. People say he was understeering, but he should have been more patient because maybe Lewis Hamilton and maybe the two the two Mercedes guys, Lewis and George, could have played a potential strategy on Alonso because Alonso was the sandwich in between them. Maybe they could have done like a strategy, like maybe Russell will go on longer, then obviously try and hold up Alonso. But it wasn't to be because Russell bashed his car into the rear. He came into the pit, and then after he came into the pit, they put I think they put a new front wing on, front nose. They was checking his back, but he was at the back anyway under the safety car, and they was just driving around. And eventually
on camera soon.
Yeah, eventually when it came down to it, he did catch up eventually. He got himself into P8, which obviously was a good thing because when he came into the pit, he pitted, put the hard tyres on as well. And then the others didn't pit. The Ferraris didn't pit. I think the two of the Alfa Tauris didn't pit. So as long as he could hold that position, I reckon he would have got 8th place. But towards the end of the race, I told him, sorry, mate, your car's gone. Come into the pit. You got to retire the car. And that was gutted for Russell because I had high hopes for George Russell coming into this race. I thought there was going to be 2 Mercedes on the podium. Never thought it was going to win the race. I thought that was going to be Max Verstappen, obviously, for now, because he's in the fastest car. But I thought George and Lewis could have played a strategy on Alonso, and I thought there was going to be a 2 and 3 Mercedes. But like Spain, but it wasn't to be. Nick de Vries was... covered that with Nick de Vries locking up. Lando had a 5-second for backing up the pack. That's trending online. And when he was backing up the pack, when he was coming out of the pits, after the safety car, lap 41, Lewis pits, puts the medium tyres on. Lap 42, Alonso pits reacted to the pit because because Lewis came and put the medium tyres on. So it was obvious that Alonso was going to come in the lap after to react to that pit because if he would have stayed out a bit longer, Lewis probably could have gained on him on the medium tyres. So Alonso came in, matched Lewis's pit time, and then it was from there. It was just a formality. Max drove in front. There was like 5 seconds between Max and Alonso. Lewis got 2 fastest laps, and I thought Lewis was going to look. I'll be even before the race. I would have been happy with Lewis getting a podium, and if a fastest lap, he would have got the fastest lap. That would have been a bonus. That would have been a bonus for me. Didn't want to be because Perez got it at the end. So yeah, looking at the race, I thought it was an exciting race. It was a good race, but it don't seem like Red Bull's pulling away as much now. It seems like the other cars are kind of slowly but surely catching the Red Bulls up, and that was expected. They did say that they said that about 4 or 5 weeks ago that when it gets towards the Silverstone time on Austria, that the cars are going to catch him up. So what do you think what do you think of Lewis's performance, and what do you think of Alonso's performance?
Look, Alonso. Look, this race, this is decided that Mercedes are not yet the car getting there is getting there, but it's not fast enough Aston Martin yet, because
I
every
think it
time
is.
Mercedes was pushing
I think it is.
Aston Martin, you think Mercedes is faster than Aston Martin?
I think they're similar. It's just I know this weekend Aston Martin brought their biggest upgrade of the season. They brought it this season, and next race Mercedes are going to bring their upgrade, and you'll see they'll be going back and forwards. Probably some races Mercedes will be in front, and other races Aston Martin be in front. That's how it's going to be, between them. So I think they're about equal at the moment, about equal. Behind them, I'd say Red Bull's the fastest. Second, I'd say Mercedes and Aston Martin, and behind them, I'd say Ferrari, because Ferrari has dropped back.
Yeah. And but
What
look,
do you think about their performances anyway? Sorry.
the performances Aston Martin clearly had the fastest car today. But Mercedes, it's still getting there, man. It's gonna be challenging for wins. I can see the future now. I can actually see the future. Look, Mercedes is gonna be quick. Next
quick.
season, they're gonna change the concept. It's gonna
They're
be
gonna
like
be
Red
quick.
Bulls and Aston Martins.
Yeah.
But look, the race today, man, just explains it all. Russell could have made a huge difference to the constructors now, because at the end of the day, Hamilton got 15 points and Russell got none. So Hamilton was basically racing for himself that race. Russell was coming through the pack.
Kind of let the side. I know. He was coming back, wasn't he? 8th place he got in. Then he had to retire the car. Got it.
And soon as Russell hit that wall, it was just lights out there. The car was just not getting anywhere after that.
He tried it. I think when he came in, he put them hard tyres on. I thought, yeah. But we're going to get into that more in the debrief. But I'm going to do the final standings of the race. We have in first place Max Verstappen, second Alonso, third Lewis, fourth place Charles Leclerc, fifth place Sainz, sixth place Perez, seventh place Albon, eighth place Ocon, ninth place Stroll, 10th place Bottas, 11th place Piastri, 12th place Pierre Gasly, 13th place Lando Norris, 14th place Tsunoda, 15th place Hockenberg, 16th place Wan Yu Zhou, 17th place Kevin Magnussen, 18th place Nick De Vries, 19th place George Russell, and 20th place Logan Sargent. The two retirements was George Russell and Logan Sargent. Let me just try and bring these up in the standings.
Logan Sargent's got a lot of bad luck in it.
Yeah,
he
hasn't
even finished a 4 race this season.
I think the battle is going to be for. Let's have a look. I think the battle is for second place in the championship. Max Verstappen will win the championship, and I think the battle is for second. I'm looking at Perez at the moment. I'm going to look and see if I can bring this up at the screen. Wait, no. I'll just say Perez at the moment is in second with 126 points. Third place, just behind him with 117, is Alonso. And just behind Alonso in fourth place is Lewis with 102. George Russell has dropped down to sixth place now. So George Russell's on 65 points. And he's dropped back a lot. Even Sainz is in front of him now. Sainz is 68. I'd say the battle is for second place for the Drivers' Championship. For second, battle for second. That's what we're going to get. It depends how the upgrades come. But see how it goes. Red Bull on top with podiums. Points have got 321. Mercedes second in the constructors with 167. Aston Martin 154. That's what I mean. George let the side down today. If George would have hung in there, be patient. He's heavy-footed on that throttle, man. He's heavy-footed. If he could have held out there, they could have played a strategy on Aston Martin today. And then Lewis probably would have got the second place. But it is what it is. Aston Martin's got 154, and that would have been more ahead of the constructors as well, because we would have had two guys up there. Because Aston Martin is just behind Mercedes in the constructors. So he could be battle for the second. He could be battle second for the constructors as well, out of Mercedes and Aston Martin. But I'm confident Mercedes will get that. But yeah, that was it, man. That's a quick live reaction. We've been going for 24 minutes. Gonna We'll go into more in depth on Monday in the debrief.
Sorry about my camera today, man. It was just some battery
Don't worry
problems
about
with my
it.
phone.
Listen,
I didn't get it full charged.
It doesn't matter. It is what it
At
is.
least I
It
got my
happens.
point
It happens.
across.
Exactly. Mercedes is faster. There you go. I'm only joking. Yeah. Anyway, anything you want to say before we sign off?
Look, nothing really. Just saying, we got a course debrief Monday or Tuesday, depends what we're doing.
Debrief Monday.
I might have karting coming up soon, so I'm definitely doing a debrief. Definitely.
Monday's debrief.
Yeah, and of course I got a karting race coming soon. So
when's that?
I've got Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. One of those days.
Okay. Trying to see some pictures of you there.
Yeah, and I need to start uploading the karting clips on my channel and then on Twitter as well, tagging all the F1 teams and see what I can do from there. Of course, because I'm qualifying. I'm doing qualifying time for this British Championship. I've got to get my times in. So
okay,
try my best.
Okay, so more of that on his channel. Check out Total Hammer's channel for that. We're back tomorrow for the debrief. Most likely tomorrow for the debrief, if Total Hammer can make it. And yeah, that's it, bro. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, buy the coffee. You're not obligated. iTunes got the podcast. The podcast has been stagnated for a while because there's been technical problems. But the first podcast is going to be back up this week. Audio podcast is going to be back up this week, so look out for that as well. All the links in the description below. The link tree's there. Scan the QR codes. There you go. See you later, guys. See you tomorrow. Hopefully for the debrief.